Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente On Air. I am your host, Larry Rodarte, and I want to invite everybody to come on into the room out there on Facebook, social media, and we're going to have a great conversation tonight. We've got a business entrepreneur here with us in studio, Rene Torres. Many of you know him out in the community, and he is going to be talking about his business as well as many other things. So join us in the room if you've got a question or concern. Put it in the chat room because, as you know, Mi Gente on Air is about my people, and it's concerning Latino culture, contributions, and culture. So join us in the Facebook Live room. Tell your friends, family. We're here, and this show tonight will air on Sunday at 8 p.m., and I believe it's going to start airing as well on Saturday mornings. So that's good news. As we begin our fifth year, this is our fifth year doing Mi Gente on Air. I can't believe it has gone this fast. And come on in the room, like I said, and join me and Renee as we have this conversation tonight here on Mi Gente on Air.
Welcome to Mi Gente on Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente on Air. I'm so happy to be with you here this December the 10th, I believe it is. And we are here in the Alpha Media Studios on WSGW 100.5 FM and 790 AM. And I'm having a little bit difficulty hearing myself, but we're here, and that's a good thing, right? And we're just gearing up for the holidays, and we're real excited about the upcoming tamale taste-off that's happening on December the 22nd, just in time for Christmas. So everybody can come get their tamales. And I know that right now the novena is happening. There's a lot of cultural things happening within our Hispanic community. And so for everybody out there, just want to wish you all a happy holiday. And I want to talk today with an entrepreneur, somebody who's making things happen in the community. And he's a friend of mine. His name is Rene Torres. And I want to welcome him to Mi Gente on Air. Rene, how are you?
Very good, Larry. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here tonight. And I just want my listening audience out there to understand a little bit about you and what your background is and where you come from.
Well, Rene Torres, I started a company, T&S Construction. So I'm a carpenter by trade, went through a pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship program, local 706 Carpenters Union. So a little bit about myself, Larry, is I'm from San Antonio, Texas, where a lot of people, yes, sir, a lot of people from, relatives from Mexico, and so forth. Moved here when I was about 8 years old with my mom and dad as migrant workers. And so we know a lot about the work, where the work comes from, agriculture. Then I moved on to construction when I was 16 years old.
And what made you decide a career in construction, especially at 16?
Well, from agriculture, working hard, knowing what hard work was, had an opportunity to join a roofing crew with one of my uncles in Texas. And so knowing how to work hard, having that established in my life by my parents, just it came natural to work hard, and just so we started roofing, and thereafter wanted to learn how to put wood together as far as carpentry goes. So I started learning framing, and just from there it just keeps going. The trade never ends. You start learning a little bit of electrical, a little bit of heating and cooling, plumbing, and so you start learning how to labor around all these trades. And then so at that point, being educated, went through a 4-year apprenticeship program through the Carpenters Union. Gives you the edge on to motivate yourself to become an entrepreneur, a business owner, and a general contractor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I asked you that question simply because, as you know, my father was in construction.
Yes.
Many out there may have heard of Rodarte Builders, and that's
Mhm.
what the company was called. And although I say my name now, Larry Rodarte, it was Rodarte Builders back in the day. And at 14, he had me out there uh,
Mhm.
working with him as well and doing construction work, primarily the smaller stuff. Although I did do some roofing, and I of course did drywall and painting, all the good stuff. And so that kind of was where my background was. And it's amazing to me to hear from you, somebody who wasn't in that background, but you came up the migrant line, and here that's the career choice that you chose. um and there's so much now at my age that I wish I would have learned, um you know and from my dad. And I did learn a lot, but sometimes when you're a teen, you can be rebellious and you don't want to do what your dad tells you to do or whatever. But I was really fortunate to have him, and my uncle with Rodarte Builders in my life.
Yes.
And so I really applaud you for your choice and what you've done and what you're doing. And I want people to understand, you know, how exactly did you start TNS, your company?
Well, I was building bridges through a company named CA Hall, and it as a journeyman carpenter, we were traveling a lot. So I was always gone from Saginaw, Detroit, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, you name it. Um, so always away made me decide, okay, if I'm going to travel for somebody, if I'm going to work and travel, I might as well do it for myself. I knew how to do it. We can make good partnerships, networking with the plumbers, with the HVAC, with electricians, and me being the carpenter, the general contractor. Uh, at first, nobody knows who you are, but as you start building a name for yourself, now I'm doing contracts with the city of Saginaw, a lot of private work. Been doing a lot of roofing with the ARPA program, city of Saginaw. So you just have to be out there and want to get it. You have to work hard. It's not given to you by all means. Nobody knew who TNS Construction was. You have to get out there and be competitive. I mean, with pricing, with just the knowledge on how to get the job done.
Yeah, the bids that
Yes.
yeah, I can imagine all that. And I would see you many times with pictures and posts. You would be, I think, in Texas with a whole crew of
Yes.
guys from Saginaw that you would put the call out, I need some help or whatever. I remember there was like 20, 30 guys.
Yes.
What was that for? That was for Texas, or was
Uh,
that for
Louisiana.
a hurricane,
Hurricane
after a
run.
hurricane? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was that experience like?
Well, it you don't know what you're walking into. So when you travel with 20 plus guys and you travel to Louisiana, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know that the closest hotel we could stay in was going to be 4 hours away from disaster.
Wow.
So traveling 4 hours there to look at the job sites and look at the destruction, and then have it travel 4 hours back with guys. It was something else. From Louisiana, we go to Florida, Pensacola, because there was destruction all over. Same thing, taking the guys over there, hotel stay, just taking care of each other. It was an experience.
I can imagine. and
Yes,
and I know you also had a crew going up to the Mackinac Island, wasn't it?
yes,
Maybe
yes.
last summer, was that? Or
Well, it was 2021 when we first got our first contract in Mackinac Island doing the Starline docks. So I was out there just on vacation. Went up to Mackinac Island, and the roof when the boat uh, when we get off the boat, the building there was just so ugly. I told the captain, "Hey, captain, I don't like to see this when I first get here. So what can I do to uh, put a bid in? I'm a contractor." And so he gave me a phone number. Um, not knowing that the company would actually call me about 2 weeks later and ask me to come and give a bid. And so I did, got the job, redid the project.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And so I think one of the messages I want to get out there in regards to you and your company is that you're involved in this line of work. And you mentioned about learning, a trade and plumbing and, a little bit of, um, everything that goes with even electrical that, also goes with, building a home or rehabilitating a home or whatever. But at one point you came to me and you said, we need to do an apprenticeship type program. And so that's
Mhm.
really important. You could be a contractor that's looking out just for yourself, your company, the crew that you have, because you got to, have workers or whatever. But you, I think, have seen that there's a real need for an educational component to your company that actually will be like an apprenticeship program for young men and women. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, yes. So I know I was educated with the 4-year apprenticeship program. And so I was blessed to go through it. It's a struggle. Being nothing against unions. I love union. I love non-union, whatever it may be, whoever chooses, to each their own. But being in the union world, we had to travel a lot. So there's a lot of people who want to learn the trade, whether it's carpentry, um, HVAC, heating and cooling, plumbing. The thing is, not too many people are able to travel. So we want to set. So I started a nonprofit first of all called Building Power, Building Poder.
Mm-hmm.
With this nonprofit, we're going to start. We are started the pre-apprenticeship program. We're acquiring a school, the abandoned school called Longfellow. So we've met with the Board of Education, and we're moving forward in acquiring this building so we can start teaching in there.
Wait,
Um,
now where is Longfellow exactly?
Longfellow is on Remington, Sheridan, Brown, and Phelan.
Okay.
So in that square, Longfellow Elementary School, and I think it's closed down since 2013. And so we're acquiring it to move forward with this program because I see the need. I have a lot of people come to me, and they ask for work. Um, Being that they're asking for work, I can hire them, but I out of pocket, we don't have the funds to keep training uh, and trying to build a company. So with the nonprofit, we are working with a lot of different entities like Delta College, Michigan Works, the state of Michigan, uh, and private funders. Uh, Everybody's partnered in now, and we're working together to see it through. They love the idea. I presented a curriculum, and to help not only commercial work in the trades but residential. So, and you've remembered, Larry, we've talked about how do we bring back the Rodarte days?
Mhm.
When your dad and uncle were building thousands of houses. So
Literally.
yes, oh, 100%. And I remember talking to your dad, and your dad telling me that he had hundreds of guys working under the company, and blessed days. How do we bring that back? How do we have our community working and not have to travel so much? So this is what we're after. So the trades, the pre-apprenticeship program, Building Poder, like I said, working with a lot of entities, uh, we're moving forward in the right direction. There is programs that are coming to the state of Michigan that will help us start building.
Okay. And so I know I remember seeing a post. You invited me to come with you guys over there to Longfellow, to the Board of Education in presenting to the board your ideas. And I know Julius Tate was with you as well, and he's
Yes,
vice president of,
partner. Yes.
yes. And so tell us about that experience. Was it something that kind of surprised you, or was it something that you were ready for? Because to go in front of the Board of Education the way you did,
Mhm.
um, you know, that takes guts, that takes a real drive. It
Yes.
takes something that you really believe in, so that you can present that to the board, so that they believe in you and give you the approval for it. So tell us about that.
Well, so I've been bugging the Saginaw Board of Education for quite a bit now, close to, I'd say, a year, uh, on how to acquire an abandoned building. It took a little time, uh, but they heard me, and they finally responded to do a walkthrough with me with the maintenance crew. And so we did a walkthrough about a month ago. Finally got in there, walked it through, so we can have an idea of how much it would cost to remodel the building. So, because having a meeting with Dr. Roberts, the president of the board, um, we presented an idea to him. He liked it. He knows the city of Saginaw, the youth needs it, and he was for it. But he said, "How do we convince the board? How do we become self-sustainable for the next 3 to 5 years?" So, working with private lenders and partners and stuff, uh, we've got that figured out. We did the walkthrough, and then we just had to show the board the curriculum that we have, what we're bringing. We've had we're working with the city of Cleveland also, and different with the trades, with the pre-apprenticeship, with manufacturing, and things of that nature. So, city of Saginaw, I've been back and forth with Cleveland with my partner Julius Tate, and so going back and forth, just gaining a lot of knowledge and a lot of partners and working with a lot of entities, gave us the drive to bring this 100% to the Board of Education, and they love the idea. So moving forward now, we will be acquiring the school of Longfellow so we can teach the pre-apprenticeship.
And I think that what's important is, when you have someone like yourself who is knowledgeable, and not that you know everything in regards to this, because you're learning right along with, as you're going along,
Yes.
but it's important to have someone like yourself to be in the role of, say, a mentor, because so many guys may want to go into the field or be in construction, or they have some knowledge of little bits and pieces here and there, but they need somebody to guide them, especially if they're going to sustain in a career, or if they want to go be a plumber, they want to be an electrician. I mean, um, so much I've seen recently where there has been attempts at programs where they're looking to kind of bring under their wing individuals. But I think you're doing it the right way. You established, the nonprofit, and you're, looking to have support to do this, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the
Yes.
support of the community, to see it forth and to make sure that you're getting that support along the way in what you're trying to do. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes. Well, and let me tell you though, so we are, when I say we, me and my partner Julius Tate, we are construction business owners. We are hands-on.
Right.
We've learned the field. We work hands-on with the workers. We teach as we go. Yes, and it's very much needed with the community to see the need of this. Moving forward, there's projects that we can do, and just things coming together. But yeah, we need the community to back us up, Larry. We really do. Moving forward with the pre-apprenticeship, the students, not everybody's meant for college,
Right.
but not everybody wants to teach just anybody. We're gonna open up our doors for the people who want to learn in our backyard. We're here to teach and give everybody the opportunity to learn the trade. Not everybody's meant to be teachers, not everybody's meant to be the perfect student. But we're here to work hand in hand with the students, hands on, like I said, and the trades is a good field to get into.
So, what would you say to, say, a parent parents out there or grandparents that may have a young individual that may have a liking to carpentry work or painting, or may have seen some plumbing in his day or whatever, what would you say to them to somehow get their child, their young adult, involved in your program?
So let me tell the parents this, that a lot of the students, a lot of your kids learn hands on. Not everybody can just read a book and stand still.
Mhm.
I was a person to learn hands on. I work with my hands. Um, like I said before, not everybody's meant for college. And when your kid's telling you that they want to learn hands on, don't discourage them, because the trades is you can be very successful. You can make good money. You can make a good living. You can support a family very nice. And
Yes.
so I encourage you, if your kids are taking summer jobs, working in the trades, encourage them. Follow it through, learn it. Have them learn little by little as a laborer. Uh, just picking up after the tradesman will teach them how to pick up the skill.
Yeah. And today, I have to ask this question just because I think I've seen it, even with what I do in terms of the food truck business.
Yes.
It's really hard to find individuals um, who want to commit to a career or commit to even a job these days. Um, how do you combat that as somebody who's in business, has a business, who's looking to be a mentor, if you will, and have an apprenticeship type program?
They the kids, the people who want to work will find you.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're having a battle of who wants to show up for work, where are we lacking, what are we doing wrong? But the people who want to work, they will find you, and that's how you get a good team as a company. They look for you. There's people asking me every day, "Are you hiring? Are you hiring?"
Yeah.
And we're in the city of Saginaw, and I love Saginaw, but we're not the biggest community. We're not booming with towers and construction every single day. So we have to hustle out here to get a job.
Hmm.
And how many people do you want on your crew? So there's limited factors around here, but there's a lot of people who want to work. The problem is they cannot travel. So we will take them in to teach them.
Yeah, yeah. So now there is the Wadsworth Clinic over there by the Union Civica on
Yes.
Wadsworth. Tell us a little bit, because I know at one point you guys rehabilitated that place, started it.
We're working on it right now. My
Yeah.
partner, Julius Tate, and I, um, we're in the phases of reframing the inside, doing a little bit of the electrical plumbing. And so we've talking to the inspectors, and they give the go ahead to start pushing forward. And so, yes, we're working on there. We already did the roof on there, and just moving forward.
Yeah, and that is the Wadsworth. It used to be the Wadsworth Dental Clinic under Health Delivery. If anybody remembers, right there on Veterans Memorial Parkway in
Mhm.
Wadsworth, and it's fun. It's so funny because I don't know if I shared this with you, Renee, or not, but my dad had me um, contract with there were nuns at the time that worked
Mm.
under the health delivery system, and Dad said, okay, if you're planning on going to college, because I was, um, you're gonna have to work for it. You're not just gonna expect me to pay for everything.
Yes.
That was his
Mhm.
mentality, because Dad came from the fields.
Yes.
And so I had formed a company. My dad actually did it. It was called LJ Janitorial Service, for Larry Joseph Janitorial Service. And I was contracted with the nuns under health delivery. And I had to clean that place every weekend, going
Wow.
into, they would work all week. And then come Saturday, Sundays, I'd go in there and clean, vacuum, clean the walls, whatever, countertops, everything. And that helped me to get through Michigan State University in my freshman year. And when I was gone and went to school, I had hired my cousin, Angela Blanco, and she would clean up the clinic for me. And I
Nice.
even had to have workman's comp. Dad made me get a workman's comp cover, so, it's so funny that I see the full circle. And I think that, I think something is meant to be with
Yes.
you and I, because
100%.
it's strange how you were knowledgeable about my father,
Yes.
and then here you and Julius are over there at Wadsworth Dental Clinic, my first job ever.
Yes.
And so it's kind of ironic. It's also kind of really inspiring for me to see that I've kind of come full circle and to be able to see young individuals as yourself doing this. So we're going to talk more with Rene Torres here with TNS Construction Company and his new program that they've got going that's going to see Longfellow School, if many of you remember, rehabilitate that to have an apprenticeship type program for young individuals to learn the trades. So we'll be right back here on Mi Gente on Air. So welcome back to the live stream here. Thank you for those of you who are joining us. We got a number of people in the room, and I've got some people have made a comment. Cristiana Maria Malacara says, I'm so excited for all that is to come. Renee is driven and has fantastic support. I read that wrong. Selena Marie Urivis says, I'm so proud of you. Lives are going to be changed because of your vision. Proud of you. So you've already got some good support in the community. Is there anybody else that has really helped you and assist you to, kind of drive you into the idea that you have had with the apprenticeship program?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just been in my nature to bring this out. It just dawned on me one day that, after doing the general contracting, the construction, and knowing what I know, and if something happened to me now, the knowledge would be gone. Why not share it?
Yeah.
My dad was a carpenter many years ago, and I saw him with his pouches on one day. And of course, Jesus was a carpenter, so we want to follow in very good, strong footprints. But educating myself in the field of construction, once I got into it, it was nonstop. I just wanted to learn and learn and learn. But you have to have that wanting spirit to learn. You got to be teachable, and so construction's been my life. I mean, there's been different opportunities, but I've always been into construction. I build bridges, I've built houses, foundation, concrete, driveways, roads, and so I'm pretty well rounded. And I'm not going to ever say we know it all, because we're always learning.
Mm-hmm.
But for the kids who have the same desire, the same heart, that want to learn hands-on, don't want to be in school. And I hate to say that, but a lot of kids don't want to be in school. If the parents are watching and you see your kids having trouble with the learning, they're hands-on. Teach them now as young kids. Encourage them to follow in the trades, learn a skill, because forcing them to do something that they don't want to do is it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
And that's where we're having trouble losing the students, the kids. We drive them away. Well, here we're welcoming them. We want to teach them. We want to teach the people who want to learn hands-on a skill trade, and let them learn. So we do have a curriculum of how we're going to do it, Larry.
Well, let's talk a little bit more.
Mhm.
Let's go back into the show,
Yeah.
because you're giving a lot of good information there, and I want to make
Yes.
sure it's part of the actual show. So we're going to go back into Mi Gente on Air.
Yes.
You're listening to Mi Gente on Air on WSGW.
Welcome back. I am your host, Larry Rodarte. I'm here at the Alpha Media Studios, and we're with WSGW 100.5 FM and 790 AM. And you can hear this show, Mi Gente on Air, on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. And I believe we're going to be broadcasting as well on Saturday mornings. I haven't got that time yet confirmed, but that's a plus as we begin and start our 5th season here with Mi Gente on air. And today my guest is the entrepreneur, the business individual who is making waves here in the city of Saginaw. His name is Rene Torres. And we've been talking about an apprenticeship program that he's starting to bring in young individuals to share his knowledge. And tell me, Rene, you talk about, wanting to share the knowledge that you have acquired through the years. He was just telling me on the live stream. Can you tell us a little bit and elaborate more on that?
So what I'm saying is, if we know a trade, if we have skills, and we don't share them, I mean, that's just, for me, that's just greed. There's a lot of people who need to share their knowledge. So I'm pretty well rounded in the construction industry, and this pre-apprenticeship program is very much needed. We have a lot of students who want to work. We need the workforce. We need the development of the city. We need a rehab, and so I want to share my knowledge with as many students as I can teach. And I want the parents to be involved. I want them to know what they're learning. We got a lot of partners. We're working with a lot of people. One of the important ones I'd like to say is the HBA, the Home Builders Association. I'm a member, and we're going to be working hand in hand on this pre-apprenticeship, pushing it forward, so we can make it successful. A lot of hands-on builders, companies who are looking for that next generation workforce, and how do we get them prepared? How do we get them in the field with the little 101 pre-apprenticeship in the safety, in the carpentry, and every trade that there is out there.
That's nice. That's really nice. How did you come across because you mentioned my father, Val Rodarte.
Yeah.
How did you come about meeting him? Was it at the Civica at a brunch or something?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, you remember that, Larry? And I remember you introducing me to him, and you told me that he's a very quiet man. He really doesn't conversate too much. And so I presented myself, and I started telling him who I was, Rene Torres. I started a company just like you, sir, but mine's a lot smaller, TNS Construction. And he stops me and he interrupts and he says, "You know what? I had hundreds of people working under me. And do you know that we were the Rodarte builders who built thousands of houses here in Saginaw?" And when you start talking about a passion that one person has, you start learning knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that conversation started with myself and your dad, he inspired me.
Wow.
And today I ask, how do we bring those Rodarte days back with building more houses, having job security for the next 10, 15, 20 years? It's coming. It's coming. I can see it coming. We got some programs coming, and so it will be happening.
Well, Rodarte Builders started in 1957, so almost 70 years ago. And I think that the story hasn't really been told as it should be or should have been, because like yourself, my Uncle Manuel and my father, they were migrant workers. They came from Uvalde, Texas, and they worked the fields. Dad said he started at the age of 10, working the fields, and came up to Michigan, back and forth to Saginaw. They go back to Texas. They come back to Saginaw to work the crops. And my grandmother, their mother, she was a strong woman. Refugio Rodarte was her name. They called her Cuca. And she had to make a living for 8 kids because her husband had died very young at the age of 32. And so she came up kind of like the Bracero program, where they took men from Mexico during the war because the American men were fighting overseas and they needed the workforce. And so they had contracted with the Mexican government, and it was called the Bracero program, where they brought men over to work the fields and all. and the Anguiano family here in Saginaw. I don't know if you know Art Anguiano. His father, Jesus, was the one that brought my family basically in a dump truck in the back with other families
Wow.
and brought them to work the crops. And my
Mm.
uncle Manuel had the vision. My dad and my mom were newly married and they had moved to Chicago, and dad was in an apprenticeship program in Chicago. I have the book, some of the books,
Wow.
and my uncle called him and said, I want to start building homes. I want to start building houses. And called my dad, talked him into moving back to Saginaw. Um, and their first house was on Mount Calm over there by the Civica on 23rd Street.
Okay.
And very close to the Civica, actually. And it was a grocery owner. He owned a grocery store in Saginaw, wanted a new house built. And the way he paid my father and my uncle was through groceries because they
Wow.
both had new families, started
Wow.
having kids, and they needed to feed them. And so that's how that first house was built. And, my aunt, I have to give credit to my aunt, Virginia, which was my Uncle Manuel's wife. She she wasn't Mexicana. She was Anglo, and it was she that went before the city council in Saginaw, because how are you going to get migrant workers that came from Uvalde, Texas, with second and third grade education to speak in front of the Saginaw City Council?
Wow.
It was she who pushed with the idea to for them to build houses in the city of Saginaw at a time when it was very difficult for people of color to buy homes.
Okay.
There were many that couldn't, and the Fair Housing Act under Lyndon B. Johnson had not happened yet in the 60s. This is 1950s, early 60s. And I believe that was passed in 1968 finally, where people of color could own their own homes. And so, there's so much history there that I think is really important, because although they didn't have the education, my dad and my uncle, they had the drive.
Yes.
They had the will, and they wanted to work, and never was even taught how to, pick up a hammer and drive a nail. And that can be difficult. I have hurt my thumbs.
Yeah.
I have, through the years.
Yeah.
And so it's really something to I feel closely connected to you with this today because of the story that I know with my father and my uncle. And I can't believe that that's going to be 70 years that Rodarte Builders was formed. So I know Dad was inspired by you, I think, as well in that conversation, because he says to me, I remember him saying, "I'm glad you introduced me to him." I was just like, well, I kind of thought there might be something there,
Oh, yeah.
I had hope, So,
Yeah.
gosh, what year was that? That was like 2015? No, well, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when we were doing the extra brunches at the Civica in those days. But so yeah, it's really inspiring for me to hear what you're doing. And what type of apprenticeship backing do you see is needed to start that at Longfellow once you guys get that? Because first of all, you're going to get the building secured and everything and ready for an apprenticeship type program. What do you think it's going to take in terms, when we talk about, it takes a village.
Yes.
I think that's where this has got to go. And you're going to need the support in order to really push that next generation of workers. What do you see when you envision it?
I think what I see is we need to come together, leaders of the community. We have to sit down. If we're divided and we don't want to pick sides, we don't want to have favoritism. What we want is the whole community to come together. The leaders, we have to sit down together. We have to make this happen it's not our pride. It's the next generation. We have to build them up. I think right now I feel like we're losing with so much violence we have going on in the city of Saginaw. I think we have to have more programs. I think we have to bring everybody together. If we start working together, we can bring students and kids of every different neighborhood together. we have to protect one another. And when we do that, we're showing if our parents can stick together, we're showing the kids that we can all stick together. And with these programs coming out, we have to support one another through fundraisers, through funding, uh, word of mouth, encouragement, build one another. And so building for that is about that. And I just pray that we all come together.
Well, yeah, that
Mhm.
that can be very challenging,
Yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
possible. Anything's possible,
Yes.
and I think you're on the right track, Renee. I think that it's sorely needed in the community. I have known a number of individuals who've looked for this types of programs. I remember an electrician wanted to share that knowledge, and I can tell you by what at the Civica, we've had issues with plumbing, with heating, with just general contracting work. My father put in the with Jesse, Jesse
Yeah.
Vasquez
Yes. Yes.
helped with the water heater before he
Okay.
passed away in 2020.
Okay.
So I mean, it's really to have a building that is from 1960 that was
Yeah.
built there, which is the community organization, the civic organization. It takes people to really look out for it. And I think that just last January, we had a major mishap because of the cold days. There was a cold day in January. The vortex had hit in the area, or whatever, and
Mhm.
froze our pipes.
Yes.
And so, man, did we have a mess over there? But luckily, we were able to come back from that. We had the insurance for the building, and we were able to fix the pipes and all. But so, it's a constant struggle, and everyone, you know, if you got any type of building, there has to be maintenance. There has to be the care
Mhm.
and love for that, whether it's a house, whether it's a hall, whether it's a building. And if you know someone like yourself, or somebody who has an inkling to any uh, aspect of whether it's electrician or plumbing, it's very helpful. It's very helpful to that
Yes.
knowledge. And so anybody out there who has young individuals, and it's not just men, it can be women too,
Yes.
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they want to, encourage them in this field, have them call Renee. Tell them to give Renee a call. How does somebody get a hold of you as well as Building Poder?
So we're going to start making flyers. We're going to start passing them out. And once we start working on this school, um, with the school board permitting, um, we just want to move full force, start getting as many applications as we can, and make it successful. Uh, you know, there's the doubts out there. People want to discourage here and there, but you know what? We're moving forward. Uh, putting God first. That's all I can do is look up to heaven and ask for prayer every day. I'm pushing forward. There's nonstop in this. We have the knowledge that we want to give out. Um, we want to teach, and so like you're saying, Larry, about the Union Civica having problems here and there, but there's still a lot of other senior citizens that can't afford their houses. So imagine if you're
Hmm.
going with those difficulties, how they're doing with this vortex of cold air coming and having problems, and then not having the tradesmen to fulfill the need. We have to start teaching. We have to start putting these kids and teenagers and anyone who wants to take this course. We're shooting for. Me and Julia's been talking about 17 on up to 45. They want to start taking pre-apprenticeship. It's never too late to learn a skill, and we need to start filling these gaps where, um, let's say, there's 25 companies of heating and cooling. There's 10,000 houses in Saginaw. How do you accommodate all this? So we need to have more skilled people out here, and we're here to teach. And like I said, working with Delta College and the trades around, education will move forward. This is a 3-month course with the pre-apprenticeship. We're working with other apprenticeships that will continue education as far as a 2-year, 4-year, and or Delta College. and community college or whatnot. So that's what we're aiming for.
How did you meet Julius Tate? Because I've known I call him Juju. I've known him forever. His family was my neighbor. His grandmother was my neighbor. How did you come about meeting an individual like Julius Tate, who's also doing his thing, like you mentioned in Ohio, and teaming up with him?
Miss Councilman Garcia.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. We were doing the ARPA program, and she called me and she says, "Hey, are you going to be working on the windows with the city of Saginaw?" And I told her yes. We're looking into it. TNS Construction was interested in working with the windows, and she told me, "Well, call one of my buddies, Julius Tate, out of Cleveland, Ohio. He's from Saginaw," and uh, I called him.
That's
And
awesome.
in Cleveland, Julius Tate is partnered with many different companies as far as recycling plastic, um, uh, making their own windows.
Mm.
And so uh, he comes out here, we meet in person. I go to Cleveland, we meet out there. I got some products and so forth, back and forth. We're talking about manufacturing and it's happening. So Cleveland's into the products uh, manufacturing, and so we're just moving forward. And we've built a bond relationship. We started partnering in different projects, and that is just it's launching.
It's awesome. How do you see like I saw you earlier in October, you and Julius at the Michigan State Lead Conference in Lansing. How do you see programs like that assisting and helping you? What did you gain out of that conference?
Networking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in Saginaw. When they have conferences like that from all over the state, bringing people from all over the United States, and you have interest in how can we build each other, how can we help each other, how can we, well, the conference for Latinos and for anybody who was invited, doors are open for anybody. But this specific conference is us building each other up. And so when you network, it's endless. You meet people that will fund. You meet people that are looking for funding. You meet people that are just connected. You meet people from every walks of life, and that's a beautiful thing.
And that's what we need more of, and building
Yes.
each other up. So many times there's negativity, and you may, I see a lot of it sometimes on Facebook, and God love social media. I do. I use it, but it also can have a dark side. And so, we as a community, as individuals, as leaders, we have to be positive in how we present ourselves, how we present our city, how we try to network and come together. And rather than talk ill of anybody, we have to be more positive. So, that's just my thinking. And for Renee to be coming forward and having an idea and a vision like he does with Building Poder, as well as his company, TNS Construction, it's important. It's important that we get behind that type of vision and dream, because it is the American dream. And we as a community, and I'm talking Greater Saginaw, not just the Latino community. I'm talking Greater Saginaw. If there's anybody out there who has any inclination, any knowledge to help him in this program, I mean, he's doing something so positive with Longfellow Elementary School, which was one of the schools that was closed.
Yes.
What year was it closed? You said
13.
2013.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt, Larry. And the reason I say 2013 is because we did the walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And on the chalkboard says 2013 when it looks like one of the final writings of one of the teachers that were there.
Wow. And so tell me, when you saw this school, was it in really bad shape? Was it because that's almost what? That's
years.
at least 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
we did a walkthrough, and yes, it's in a rougher shape, but I still see a vision of it coming back to life, structurally sound. It's nice. A little bit of the cosmetics we have to re-up, asbestos removal, lead abatement. We got to check for everything. We got to bring it up to code. And so when that's taking place, of course, that's already training. That's already having students involved, hands on. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, we want to wish you luck with that
Thank you.
project. And like I said, if anybody out there, grandparents, parents, have any individual, because so many times, when you're 17, 18, 19, up to 25, even 30, you don't know who to contact. You don't know who, if you don't have that individual in your life who's a mentor to kind of guide you. And thank God for grandparents, because that's, with their wisdom, they can also lead their grandchildren if sometimes a grandparent is raising their grandchildren. So, if you have anybody who wants to do that, you don't see that they're looking to do a career in education where they go to a university at all. These programs are what really can help an individual and can help a city, can help our city when we fill those voids where we have the need for contractors, for plumbers, electricians, and it's definitely needed. When we talk about where you're going from here, Renee, you obviously have your hands full. Where are you going forward in 2025?
Well, moving forward, well, we were talking about working with different lenders and investors and whatnot. Uh, Delta College, Michigan Works. Um, it was if you acquire the school, we will fund you. And then the school board was, if you have the funds, we will award the school and think about selling. And so now that everything's coming together, we're moving full force to get the funding, to start the training, to get the school, the students enrolled. So meeting with Michigan Works and Delta College to set up the plan on how we can start enrolling with the flyers, and or how we're going to start recruiting. And it's going to be moving pretty rapidly. I believe with the interest of the community and the help, we can come together and the classes will fill up immediately.
Yeah, I think so too. And
Yes.
I know Delta's got a new Latino initiative that they're putting forward. We're going to have some individuals on this show as well come and talk, Dr. Elsa Olvera, and other individuals that are recruiting some of the leaders as well as the organizations to help to give feedback and to be a part of this new initiative that Delta College is coming forward. And then we also are going to be having the new mayor pro tem,
Yes.
Priscilla Garcia, on the
Yes.
show to talk about her experience on the Saginaw City Council. And, it's kind of, it all goes hand in hand, with all that's happening. So just any last words? We've got a minute in the show, and I just want to give you that opportunity.
We just want the community to come together, back us up. We need the community to come together for real. This is not a time for games. This is to take our city back. We need all the help we can get. We're losing each other. Our kids out there are lost. And if we can't give them initiative and hope, then we're losing the battle. So if we come together and we start teaching them trades, anything, programs, come together, the leaders, we have to come together. All personals aside, we have to move forward in the right direction. And so with the help of the community and all the leaders, we move forward.
All right, adelante. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. We had a number of people in the room. We had comments I wasn't able to read, but we support this endeavor, and just keep pushing forward, everybody. We're going into 2025. Can you believe that? And we'll see you next week here on Mi Gente on Air. So thank you, everybody, for being with us here on Mi Gente on Air this week. And I just wanted to read a comment that I see on here. It says, congratulations, brother, Tony and Rachel Aguilar. And you have a sister named Rachel, don't you? Or
Tina. Esther.
Yeah. Sorry, Tina. Tina and Renee, I know at one time were under the Hispanic Leadership Institute.
Yes.
You were students at the time when I was still involved in, my God, how long ago was that now?
Was it 2012, 2013, right around that time? Yes.
Wow. That's over 12 years ago. But you were quite young, both of you, at that time, I remember. And I would hope that that program and programs similar to that is kind of like stepping stones for you guys
Yes.
as you went forward. We also have Julius Tate in the room. We hope you caught the show, Juju. It says love you guys. I don't know if he was in the room the whole time, but we did mention you a couple times, Julius, because I was really proud to see him at that lead conference in Lansing wearing a suit and all. Because like I said, I knew his grandmother, I know his mother, I knew many of his family, and I'm just really proud to see him, what he's doing. And I know Julius not because his family were my neighbors, but he was really good friends with my nephew Junior Rodriguez.
Okay.
Way back in the day, they lived by the hospital by Covenant, and I can't even think of the name anymore. But so it's been a long time that I've known him and his family, and I'm glad to see positive things. And it was really nice to take a picture with him over at that conference in Lansing and show his cousins and his family, because they were all happy to see it as well. So kudos to you, Julius, and I'm glad you and Renee are doing things and making things happen in the city. And we're on the live stream now. So any last words on here, Renee?
Well, once again, I just encourage the community to come together. We need support. We need all the help we can get. One individual cannot do it. Two individuals, me and my partner Julius Tate, we cannot do it alone. We need everybody. Like I said before, our kids need us out there. We're trying to support them. We want to stop the violence. We want to show them trades. We want to teach. We need the community to come together and help us. We need the support of the community so we can share and teach and build one another and succeed. That's it.
All right. There you have it. Simple as that. So thank you, everybody, for being with me here today as we go forward. The holiday season's coming up. Christmas is coming less than, I think, 3 weeks now. But I just want to remind everybody on December the 22nd, the 14th annual Tamale Taste Off. We're calling it the Taste of Tamales this year, just to kind of get away from the idea of it being a competition. But we're still going to have the tamale makers out there selling their tamales, and we have merchandise vendors as well, and just a big cultural feel at the Union Civica make on a 2715 Wadsworth. So if you're hearing this, I hope that you will consider coming just before Christmas so that you can get your last minute tamales under the Christmas tree. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week here on Mi Gente On Air.